Yo gamers, it's Ed Park, aka Taugrim. By popular request, I tried out the Mesmer class. This is my first Mesmer video, so let me briefly frame how the core class mechanics works. It's illusions. You can have up to 3 illusions out at any given time, and when you summon a 4th illusion, it will displace your oldest one, so the illusions work on a first in, first out basis, a FIFO. There are 2 different types of illusion. The first is a clone, which is a mirror image of you, and it causes a forced target drop on your opponent. They do extremely pitiful damage, although with the spec I have, they can apply bleed effects, so the damage is at least somewhat decent. The second type of illusion is Phantasm, and those are illusions that do pretty solid damage and have more HP. Now, as far as your strategy for managing your illusions, there are 2 different ends of the spectrum. On the one hand, you can treat your illusions as cannon fodder that you consume for shatter effects. On the other end of the spectrum, which is what I went with in this video, is to buff up your capabilities of your Phantasms so they do good damage, and to buff your damage, mitigation, and movement when you have 3 illusions out. So this was a 2v2. 2 of the people ran off. I don't know where they went. This is a pug after all, and so it's me versus this ranger. I close the gap over to him using sword 2, back off, and then he knocks me back here. And the really cool thing is, with this spec, I have 3 different Phantasms that I can generate. Right there, I use the Sword 3 ability for the gap close. So Sword 3 will pop out a clone, the clone will jump at your target, and then you can switch places with your clone. So I use it to gap close, and then I use the Sword 2 channel there while my Phantasm is channeling, and we apply some pretty good burst damage and burn that player down. So, like I said, I have 3 Phantasms with this spec. I try not to shatter unless I really need the effect. I think in this video you won't see me shatter once, but again, that's because I get a 9% damage buff, 9% mitigation, run speed buff, and my Phantasms hit reasonably hard. So as far as weapon sets go, I really love the combination of sword and pistol. Originally I was running with sword and torch to get the 2nd stealth, but I found that the pistol offered much better capability. The pistol 5 has a stun, daze, and blind effect, so it's a multi-target CC. And then the pistol 4 is, you know, a little bit better than the torch Phantasm that you get. And then the sword ability is awesome. Sword 2 gives you a multi-second channel that's a mini AoE, and while you're channeling it, you have a full evade. It's a really, really good ability. And right here I'm taking some focus fire. I go ahead and kite away, heal up, use stealth, and you can see I have a stealth here using the decoy ability, which is the utility on my 9 key. This is part of what makes Mesmers such a difficult class to kill. I found of the 4 classes that I've meaningfully played, Elementalist, Guardian, Mesmer, and Warrior, that this one had by far the best survivability. It wasn't the most durable that would go to Guardian, but as far as getting out of a bad situation, nothing came close to Mesmer. So right here, for example, you know, I'm taking quite a bit of focus fire. I go ahead and dodge roll out. Every time I dodge roll with the spec, I pop out a clone. So, you know, a smart player will be able to distinguish which one's a clone, which one's me, but it's still a forced target drop. And then I use the Staff 4 ability to get the Chaos Armor, and that means whenever my opponent's hitting me, I get buffs for protection and regeneration. So that regeneration and protection kept me up long enough to bridge to my next cast of Ether Feast, my healing ability. Now, Ether Feast is pretty cool. It will scale with a bonus based on the number of illusions that you have out, and ideally, you know, it'd be great to use it whenever you have 3 illusions up. In that particular case, when I used it, when I was taking focus fire, I only had, I think, 0 or 1 illusions out, you know, so but of course, when you need to heal, you gotta heal. Now, here's one really cool thing about the illusions. You can see that the Thief we're attacking stealth, but as soon as he comes back out of stealth, my illusions go chasing after him, so you can treat them like bloodhounds. If someone stealths, you're not sure where they went, when they pop out of it, your illusions will know. And your illusions will attack the target that they were summoned on, that you had targeted when you summoned. You can't get them to switch targets, and the illusions will go away when that player is finished off. Now, part of the thing I like about this spec, I didn't try the sword, but the staff has a lot of really nice utility abilities. You get that Chaos Armor, which, you know, when they hit you, they get conditions, and it gives you buffs. Right there, I just used the sword 2 channel to help drop the opponents, and I love this right here, that you can go ahead and stun with the pistol 5. Pistol and sword synergize together so well mechanically. And I really enjoyed the staff play because you get a Phantasm, obviously, you get the Chaos Armor, you have the Staff 5 ability, which is a ground target AoE, which will apply debuffs to opponents. It's really useful. So, you know, I found Mesmer to be highly entertaining. It's really unlike anything that I've played in other games. And here's another good example of the ridiculous survivability. So I'm kiting away here, I'm being shot in the face by a friend, Arasis. You know, he's dealing a lot of damage. I go ahead and I'm popping clones and, you know, healing up and kiting and using stealth. I mean, it's ridiculous. And a smart player could do things like put a call target on you. That's what I do when I fight Mesmers, but regardless of that, I can force multiple target drops by using clones and stealth. So, this is the class I think is really dynamic to play. It requires some finesse. It's a little bit different because you have to deal with the illusion management, and like I said, you have to decide what your strategy is for your illusions and then spec and play accordingly. So I am going to be writing a guide about the spec because I theory crafted this before the last beta weekend event, and it actually turned out to work really well in practice. So I'll write up some more material on my blog. Stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, favorite, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the space below this video. Take care.